This is the 1992 Legacy LS sedan. Although it is somewhat similar to previous models, there are a few new features you'll discover. This video outlines the proper procedure and sequence for performing a pre-delivery inspection on the 1992 Legacy. Although we're using a Legacy LS sedan, inspections that must be performed for other Legacy vehicles will be explained where applicable. As you go through each of the items on the PDI checklist, keep in mind that a lot is depending upon your professional judgment and analysis. We want every Legacy to be delivered in top condition, so keep your eyes and ears open. If it doesn't feel right to you, it probably won't feel right to the customer either. In this program, we'll present the pre-delivery inspection in 3 phases: the pre-road test inspection, the road test itself, and the post-road test inspection. Before we start on the PDI, however, let's talk briefly about one of the new Legacy safety features, a supplemental restraint system, commonly referred to as a driver's side airbag. It's available on most of the 92 Legacy models. This is virtually the identical supplemental restraint system used on the Subaru SVX. There are some specific precautions listed in the service manual for working in and around SRS-equipped vehicles. As long as you follow proper service procedures, the system is absolutely safe. In fact, the SRS system is no more hazardous to work around than other vehicle components, such as the battery or the fuel system. Now let's begin the first part of the PDI inspection, starting with the clock memory fuse. Since the main fuse box is under the hood, this gives you a chance to check the hood release. While you're at it, record the vehicle identification number and the dealer code in the spaces provided on the PDI form. Keep the form updated by checking off each task as you complete it. Release and prop the hood. As you can see, not much has changed under the hood. The main fuse box is still mounted behind the battery box. Open the fuse box and activate the memory circuit by inserting the 10-amp fuse into the correct position. Then replace the fuse box cover. While you're there, you might as well fill up the windshield washer tank. Confirm that the battery is full, the engine coolant recovery tank is at the proper level, and the brake fluid reservoir is full. Also check that there is fluid in the automatic transmission. We'll check it for proper level after the road test. Then check the level of the engine oil, the power steering fluid, and the front differential oil. Add fluid where necessary. If equipped with air conditioning, make sure to connect the compressor clutch lead. When you're satisfied that all of those things are okay, do a more general inspection for leaks, loose clamps, and damage to hoses or wires. Also, make sure both engine drive belts have the proper tension. Finally, close the hood and verify that it locks and fits correctly. And since you're in the neighborhood, remove the wiper protectors. Now get into the vehicle and insert the key into the ignition. You should hear a chime indicating that the key has been inserted. Next, turn the ignition switch to the on position. If the check engine light continues to flash, the read memory connectors are still connected. So turn the key off and locate the 2 black single-pole read memory connectors taped to the harness. Untape the read memory connectors from the harness and then separate them. Leave the connectors disconnected and then tuck them back under the dash. Okay, let's start the interior inspection. Turn the ignition switch on again, but don't start the engine. Verify that all of the warning indicators are illuminated. The airbag indicator should go off after 8 seconds when the SRS system has completed its self-diagnostic check. Check the appropriate box on the PDI form as each inspection is successfully completed. If a problem is found with any item, leave the box blank until the problem is corrected. Now put your foot on the brake pedal. This will release the transmission shift lock so you can check the shift indicator lamps. The power lamp should be on. The lamp around the letter P should also be illuminated. Shift down through each gear position, observing that each lamp works. Next, press the manual button and look for the manual indicator lamp to light up. Next, close the door, making sure the automatic seatbelt system is operating. Check and release the driver's and front passenger's lap belts for proper operation. Make sure that the seatbelt chime and lamp indicator go out when the shoulder belts are fastened. Turn on the rear window defogger. Later, we can verify that it's actually heating. Now turn on the headlights. Confirm their operation on high and low beams, as well as the high beam indicator lamp and the intensity of the dash lights. Next, rotate the headlight switch to the parking light position. Turn on the hazard lights and look for the signal indicators on the dash. Set the parking brake. With your foot on the brake pedal, shift the transmission into reverse and prepare to get out of the vehicle. Before you do, glance at the PDI form. Verify that everything up to this point has been checked. Step out of the vehicle and begin inspecting the lights in the rear. Are the rear parking lights, hazard lights, and backup lights working? Run your hand under the license plate lights to check that they're both on. Now move around to the front of the car to check the side marker lights and to inspect the front parking and hazard lights. Make sure to check the passenger side marker light as well. And while you're there, open the door to check the operation of the passenger automatic seat belt. Open the driver's door and turn off the hazard lights, the ignition key, and parking lights. Turn on the steering column mounted parking light switch. Check to make sure that they are on. Then get back into the vehicle, turn the parking lights off and the ignition key back to on. Activate each turn signal and check the dash indicators. Depress the brake and look for the brake light's reflection in the rear view mirror. Sound the horn. Now take a minute to update the PDI form. Activate the windshield washers prior to checking wiper operation. Check the mist wiper position by pulling the wiper lever toward you. It's spring-loaded, so pulling and releasing the lever activates the wipers for one cycle. The first detent down provides intermittent wiper operation. The frequency is fixed at the factory on certain trim levels. For the LS and LSI, it's variable, and the operation must be checked using the dial ring on the wiper lever. Now move the wiper lever to the second detent position. The wipers will operate at low speed constantly. In the final detent, the wipers work at their highest speed. Next, operate the remote power mirror controls, checking to make sure the mirrors move left, right, up, and down. Don't forget to check both left and right controls, as well as the center off position. Set the clock to the proper time, and then turn on the radio. When equipped, check that the automatic antenna goes up when you turn the radio on. On some Legacy models, you must manually raise the antenna located in the left A pillar. Next, tune in an FM station and operate all of the tuner controls. Then insert a cassette and try all of the related controls. Turn off the radio, looking and listening for the antenna retracting. Adjust the steering wheel through its various tilt positions and confirm the operation of the steering wheel memory. Adjust the seat backward and forward. Also check the tilt and the lumbar. Now try the up and down headrest adjustments. In the LS, check the operation of the seat height adjustment. Now check the power window operations. Partially depress the driver's window switch and verify that the window moves as long as the switch is held. Depress the switch to the full auto detent position. The window will move to a full open or closed position, and then the switch returns to the off position. Check the operation of all the other windows. Leave all the windows down. Then check the window lock. All but the driver's window should be locked out when the switch is depressed. Move on to the power door locks. Lock and unlock all doors, listening and looking at the locking mechanism. Check the driver's unlock feature by opening the door using the handle. Check that all other doors unlock with the driver's switch. Close the door. Check each map light. Try each position of the dome light, first on, then the door position. Open the door to confirm that it activates the light. With the door still open, check the off position. Leave the dome light in the door position and close the door. If the vehicle has a sunroof, open the sunshade and check the sunroof operation as described in the VRB. Flip down both sun visors and check each vanity mirror light when so equipped. Shift the transmission into park. Turn off the rear defogger. Turn off and remove the ignition key. Now check the steering wheel lock. And release the trunk latch and the fuel door so that we can check them later. Put your hand on the rear window. Is it warm? If so, the defogger works. Insert the key in the driver's door and make sure all doors are locked. Then check both opening positions of the driver's door lock. Turning the key approximately 60 degrees to the left allows only the driver to enter the car. The other doors remain locked. If the key is turned completely to the left, all doors should now unlock. Again, listen for the unlocking mechanism. When equipped, check all door entry lights. Fasten the rear seat belts to confirm proper operation. Check that all child safety locks are functioning by setting the lock and then reaching in the window and pulling the rear door handles. Close the trunk. Make sure that the fuel cap comes off and on properly and that the tether is intact. With a torque wrench, confirm that all wheel lugs are loosened and then torque to specification using the correct tightening sequence. Also, check the air pressure in each tire as you move around the car. Check the PDI form to make sure you didn't miss anything. You are now ready to inspect underneath the vehicle. Put the Legacy on the lift and check for any fluid leaks. Look at the steering linkage. Inspect the general condition of the underbody. Are bolts and bushings secure? Is there anything loose or missing? If the vehicle has all-wheel drive, remove and discard the 2 drive shaft covers and the differential label cover. Tug on the exhaust system and inspect the mounts and shielding. For all-wheel drive vehicles, unscrew the gear oil fill plug on the rear differential and confirm a proper fluid level. Look over the entire underbody one more time. When you're done with that, it's time to lower the vehicle. It's now time for the road test, but first, a few rules. First, except when you're specifically testing it, don't play the radio. At all times, obey the speed limits and all other traffic regulations. Finally, without fail, wear your safety belts. Throughout the road test, try to see, hear, and feel things the way the customer would. Now is the time for you to become the customer. Remember, if it doesn't feel right to you, it probably won't feel right to the customer. First, listen as you start the engine. Notice the cranking and the cold idle speed. Accelerate the engine and observe the tachometer. Verify that all warning indicator lamps on the dash have gone out when you release the parking brake. Feel the brake for sufficient pedal play and reserve. Reset the trip odometer and proceed cautiously out of the garage. Before you get too far, test the brakes. Now let's go for a ride. Check the acceleration. Listen as the car shifts itself automatically through the gears. Verify smooth and easy operation. Accelerate quickly but safely and look for the green power lamp on the dash. Observe the steering wheel's operation and alignment. Does the vehicle pull to one side or the other? Notice steering responsiveness and road shock, if any. Verify the operation of the speedometer, odometer, and trip odometer. Signal a turn, making sure that the turn signal operates and returns to center. Now try an opposite turn. Set the cruise control main switch and check the operation of the cruise control system, including the new cancel feature on vehicles equipped with an airbag. Now pull off the road, set the parking brake, and activate the 4-way flashers. Next, Check the heater and air conditioning control system. Make sure that all of the functions work as they should. Check the upper and lower register vents for correct airflow. Also check the side window and defroster airflow. Move the sliding temperature control. Is there a change in temperature? Check each of the 4 positions on the fan switch and turn off the system. Check off the items you have completed on the PDI form. As you prepare to return to the garage, check the cigarette lighter, tune in an AM radio station, and check out the reception on the way back. Once back in the garage, you're ready for the after-road test inspection. Release the hood and connect the shop's exhaust removal system and emissions analyzer to the tailpipe. Notice the warm idle speed. It should be lower than the cold idle speed. Check the exhaust emissions and record for future reference. Hook up the select monitor to verify the idle speed and check the system as described in the Legacy Service Manual. Check the automatic transmission fluid level. Turn off the engine, remove the ignition key, and pop the trunk. Open the trunk and check the air pressure in the spare tire. Inspect the contents of the toolkit and the jack. Check the operation of the trunk opener cancel lever and close the trunk. Put the vehicle back on the lift for the final underbody inspection. Once on the lift, go over the underbody one more time, visually checking for any leaks or anything that might be loose. Lower the vehicle and remove the seat covers and headrest protectors if they weren't previously removed. Inspect the upholstery and interior condition. Are there any flaws? Is anything damaged? Finally, with a careful eye, begin the inspection of the Legacy's exterior. Study the lines, paint, and general appearance of the car. Open and close the doors, checking for proper molding and fit. And don't forget to check the alignment of all the glass. And speaking of alignment, each headlight assembly has a bubble gauge alignment system built in, similar to the Subaru SVX. To check the headlight alignment, park the vehicle on level ground and check the gradient on each headlamp assembly. For proper horizontal aiming, the index mark should align with the center line of the gradient. For correct vertical positioning, confirm that the air bubble is centered in the sight gauge. Finally, remove the cat's coating, wash the vehicle, and make one last check of the paint finish. Now, take a minute to check the PDI form. Make sure you have checked everything listed on the form. If you notice any problems that require service or repairs, contact your service manager. When the vehicle is ready, sign and date the PDI form. Put the original, white copy of the form in the glove box and duplicate copy in the dealer file. That's it. You're done. As our final quality control inspector, you ensure that Legacy owners will be satisfied with their decision to purchase a Subaru and will consider another Subaru product in the future. Your attention to detail as an inspector is valued by everyone at Subaru because it's what the customer notices first that really counts.